doing seva. So everybody who's out there from 21 different nations, they are the ones who have been continuously, selflessly, and as we have seen from various journeys, whether it is journey of J.R.D. Tata, what Mr. Srinivas actually celebrated on the stage, that how that man with that vision, he started building businesses around serving the communities. So the primary focus was to serve the community, and rest everything came around beautifully. So I know after hearing it, all of it, there must be already so many questions. But the academician in me always keep on saying that, you know, in this current century, the way that we are in India, 140 billion people with a median age of 28, with close to 67% of the population under 35. If this time around we do not educate, scale them up, sorry, we'll not have anyone else to blame. We cannot blame the Britishers, we cannot blame the foreign forces. The blame will squarely fall on us. And more than you, it will fall on us, people like us who are into academics as academic administrators or teachers. इसी ख्याल से हिंदुस्तान के टीचर को नींद नहीं आनी चाहिए. इसी ख्याल से इसलिए जो कमाल का काम कर रहे हैं, जो स्कॉलरशिप्स दे रहे हैं, एक इंडिया को बढ़ाने का, इंडिया को पढ़ाने का, ये मौका फिर इंडिया के लिए शायद न जाने कितने साल बाद आएगा. और इसी वजह से इम्पॉर्टेंट है कि एक कम्युनिटी में, आई कीप टेलिंग एवरी एडमिनिस्ट्रेटर, be it bureaucracy, be it political leadership or anyone, that the only priority which should be there in the nation should be education. And education of our variety. I have absolutely no qualms in saying that, yeah, I come from management education, but believe me, we all have it wrong in so many ways. Like the way we assess the students, CGPA is the assessment process where we are pitting one against the another, and then the industry asks them, okay, cooperate. For 20 years we tell them how to compete, and then we tell them, okay, go and cooperate in the industry. Such a wrong way of doing things. And the real truth lies what we all are here exploring. So which is why it is very, very important to go back to the ways in which we were educating youngsters. And unfortunate is that though we have wealth, like I was a little intrigued is the right word, not disappointed, when that firebrand, somebody from Canada, mentioned कि ओ सबसे पहले भागवत पढ़ो, फिर गीता पढ़ो, फिर उपनिषद समझ में आएगी, और इतना टाइम किसी के पास है नहीं. So it made me a little sad and a little anxious. That means where is the hope? And he also mentioned that till the time you have guru, there's no point doing it. You will go round and round and round in circles. So now I'm extolling every teacher in you, every guru in you, that high time we all make a collective group together and we bring this wealth of knowledge within the reach of our students. And what brings me here? What should be that modus operandi that we are able to give the distilled wealth of what lies in our Upanishads, what lies in our scriptures. We have to tell them, we all know, I don't know whether you are aware of it or not, I live with Gen Zs all the time. And let me tell you, the next tsunami is mental health. And there is no respite. I know hundreds of practitioners who claim that they are trying to help, but believe me, every single professor, every single psychologist or psychiatrist that I speak to, they said, Vinita, the real wealth lies in your scriptures. So again, the circle is complete and we come back there again. So yeah, that's all we need to do as educationists. But now coming back, and that's the reason education is the biggest service. Service which is to be done very, very selflessly. So I'm extolling everybody who knows the knowledge to do this selfless seva. And I'm so sure while you were hearing all that which was being said by Josh and by Srinivas, some questions would have cropped in your head. So now we're going back to you again. The rules remain the same. My previous moderators had done a great job, so let me go by that. Please try and frame your question as succinctly as possible. Keep it to 1 or 2 sentences. And I'm so happy that we have such a varied panel sitting here who will be able to possibly give some answers, throw some light to what you have to ask. Yeah, over to you, the audience. If you have any questions, yeah, I request somebody to pass on the mic that side.
Yes.
Yeah, we need to go down. नीचे जाइए और कुछ लोग हाथ उठा रहे हैं, भाग के जाइए और जिसका भी हाथ उठा दिखे उसको माइक दे दीजिए. The question is directed to whom?
Hello.
Hariom.
The question is in general.
Okay.
Anyone can answer. So seva begins in one's heart, in one's household. Now in the school system, since children, it's easy to teach them. Is there any system in the Indian education system which teaches students how to begin seva?
It's where seva, public service is also a subject. You know, they take up in a nearby village some community service, and there is a group of people who get associated. They choose students, some students will volunteer, and they all join together and take up a social service project in a village or in a nearby town, and they deliver that project. In fact, when we were recruiting staff for Taj Hotels, for waiters and housekeeping, room boys and all that, we would go in search of such schools, and when we present about the possible careers they can look for in a faraway city, in a hotel, 5-star hotel, luxury hotel, they were not very clear, they were a little confused. We invited the parents of those children, and we presented, we hear that your children do a lot of seva to the local society, and they volunteer, they participate, and they demonstrate discipline, ethical values. So, I mean, they respect their teachers, they respect parents, they take care of, the emergencies and problems that the school sometimes may, come across, and they volunteer to participate in a team to resolve that. We used to hire such students, explain it to the parents, tell them how we have to take your daughter or son to a faraway city, provide accommodation, and train them to become a manager in a Tata company within 7 to 10 years. He will be a manager, and many of them even don't know English, mind you. We train them in English language, train them in skills, hoteliering skills, train them in personality, grooming and all that, train them in values, ethical values. They have become some outstanding managers in Taj. Some of them are general managers of large hotels. School boys who did not know English. So such schools are there, such education has started, and in the new education policy, this has become a integral part of the policy, and lot of volunteering is happening across India in schools and colleges where such subjects are taken up and taught.
Moreover, the charity begins at home, and the first teacher is always a mother. And in our own parampara, this was always taught by the mother. Yes, anyone else? Yeah, can you hand over the mic to that gentleman in the blue vest? Yeah.
My question is general to and anyone who can answer. You have mentioned very good point that we are going through an era where youth is having mental challenges, going through a lot of mental issues. Is this the time to change our education system, our way of how the youth is growing to address this problem? Because 1 in 8, according to the WHO study, every 1 in 8 youth is going through the mental challenge. So what and how we can change this through the seva and through education to make it more efficient and have a well-being around the youth?
See, the teacher in man, as a nation, as a country, we have to revive the pride in everything the way we were doing. Like I live all the time with highly intelligent, very logical, left-brain individuals, where everything which they see is through logic. And somebody in the morning session said, "Ki satyameva jayate." So I ask generally people, what do you think is the biggest test? And I keep asking people, what do you think is the biggest test? And after a while, lots of answers come and I say, the biggest test is test of time. सबसे बड़ी कसौटी समय की कसौटी होती है और जो समय की कसौटी से गुजर जाए वो सत्य होता है। तो हम जो इतनी पुरानी परंपरा है, हमारे जो इतने पुराने तरीके हैं, ये सब समय की कसौटी से गुजरे हुए हैं। 1700 विकिपीडिया से the answers lies in, like I teach in Scandinavia, which is the happiest part of the globe. But again, even in those countries, 67% of the cases, like wellness cases, which are कि बड़े पापा ने डांटा तो बड़ी मम्मी ने संभाल लिया, बड़ी मम्मी ने कुछ कहा तो छोटे पापा ने पुचकार लिया और सब लोगों ने शाम को मिलके कर लिया, अच्छा आज तुझको कितनी पड़ी. So we were not seeing it as a victim, we were not seeing it as a violence. I'm not advocating violence. I don't think there can ever be exceptions, barring exceptions, there can't be violence between family members of that variety, especially mother and the child or the father and the child. So we have to get back that collectivism. So much of catharsis happens when you just say it out. Simple as that. We call it DOS, the happy hormones, dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, endorphins. They used to get created within the family. दादा ने झप्पी दे दी, साथ में गुल्ली डंडा खेल लिया, नहर पे नहा लिए, वो कहाँ गए सब? अभी वो आ रहा है लाइक से, शेयर से, फॉलो से. Yeah.
So that's a very important question he asked. Just wanted to tell you that United Consciousness, Understanding the Concern of the World, is launching a project on mental health. It is called Swasti. Swasti is the Sanskrit word for well-being. Swasti will be an app that any person from any part of the world who is going through some mental concerns can log in that app, and any person from any part of the world who can give help, he will be connected to that person, and that way for helping anybody who is in need. Very soon this Swasti app will be launched across the planet, and United Consciousness is very much committed to launch this. Thank you for asking this point.
This one, but I want to structurally understand. Previously, what we used to do is we used to have life lessons, like when we have tough times, we had scarcity, which used to teach us the learnings of having stress in our lives. But today, when there is a lot of abundance and prosperity, students don't actually get those life lessons. So I would like to understand how structurally you can bring that back in the education system and how we are going forward with that. Is there a thought process behind it or not?
So what is the stress? Pressure divided by resilience. Fine. Even in our days, there were pressures because things were so scarce. So people were walking kilometers, people were, there were difficulties in life, but the resilience was also there. And though you mentioned that educational setup, it has to be a collective responsibility of the whole society. Where will the resilience come from? You kindly remember your childhood. When we were children, nothing was ours. One fine day, some relative will turn up and my mom will say, oh, vacate the bed, vacate the room, vacate the bathroom. And by the time I enter in the evening, everything, my shampoo, my soap, even my towel will be used. And there was nothing which I called ours, mine. So everything was shared. Resilience developed from such small things. Where, now it is one room every child. We even knock the door before we enter. So the resilience is a problem right in the household itself. And then as we go on. So the whole difficulty is that we have to make the generation, we have to make them more resilient. The pressure in any case will remain. How it does not get converted into stresses, we have to work on resilience. And this has to be very collective effort by academicians as well as by the fraternity and the community. So one last question, I think the gentleman right there behind you.
So the question is about Dhoon project. You're doing marvelous work. What challenges are you facing while scaling this up over Rajasthan and over India in general?
I think I'll have to really stretch my imagination to say it is we are even close to completion. I think the challenges that we are facing even as we execute the Dhoon project is there is incredible amount of institutional lethargy. The mandates of most people, including the government who's going to give us permission, let's say, to build in a certain way, they just suffer from intellectual lethargy, systemic immunity. I'll give you some examples. So case in point, we are right now dealing with a system that does not acknowledge the planting of trees, the building of water bodies, the building of resilience in an overall macro ecosystem, even as development. So we are here, and my father is here, we have had to pay $500,000 fine because they thought that what we did was not development. So I suppose that's one end of the spectrum. Second is regulational requirement. Now if you go from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, every place you will see stuff built in limestone, mud, but systemically to build in these materials which are thermally most efficient, environmentally more sustainable. Some places there are regulational challenges that you cannot use these because they are considered as kacha makan. And systemically to build things that are logical and right to be done, there is a regulational challenge that it's just not allowed. And finally, I think that there is I spoke about the aspirations of people. Like most people think that development means that when we develop like the United States or China, or there are constant comparisons which are made that we'll make this city like Shanghai and we'll make this city like something else. Why can't Banaras be Banaras and the best version of Banaras? And why can't Jaisalmer be Jaisalmer and the best version of Jaisalmer? And the challenge with that is that because of this deep colonization of the mind, that our aspiration of what it means to be developed, that has changed. And so just borrowing from Madam is that we need to think back not from a sense of nostalgia that, oh, hum log 5000 saal pehle aise the, to abhi hame aisa hona chahiye. Just see it from the sense of logic. जो हम लोगों के पूर्वजों ने बोला था, भाषा, भेष, भोजन, भवन, भजन भूमि से होते हैं. Your diets, your dialects, your dwellings, your dresses, your dances are all because of the have to be born out of the context that you are in. I think a combination of these three things can solve for it. So I'm not sure if I've fully answered your question, but I've given you some extent of the challenges that we are facing, behavioral challenges, regulational challenges. Thank you.
Bhasha, Bhumi, oh, that was awesome, I must say. I sometimes feel my country is in safe hands with youngsters like him. So thank you so much for instilling that faith. And thank you to each one of you for being such a wonderful audience, constantly encouraging all those sevak, those who had come on the stage, by felicitating so beautifully, by being patiently being there in spite of the lunchtime quickly approaching. So without much, let me thank my entire panel, Mr. Srinivas, Vikrant, Josh and Manvendra for being such a lovely source of inspiration to everyone out